It says the stream is live. Hey guys, how you doing? How to know that you're getting a good hair, or how to know you're getting a good hair extension job from your hairdresser. I know the title is not exactly the words I'm using, but the gist of it is you go in for a consultation, you're trying to get a really good hair extension job. You're paying a lot of money to get hair extensions. How do you know you're going to get a good job? Well, I guess telling the future is really left to the professionals, right? The professional future tellers. But we can make some recommendations because we've done through the years the really good and the really bad extensions.
Mhm.
You don't get really good without doing it really bad. That's my opinion. I've always kind of made that advice for people that want to be really good at something. How do you do it really good? Well, first you do it really bad because you got to start somewhere, right? So I think you guys, as clients out there trying to get a great job with hair extensions, can learn from our experience. And then I've taught a lot of hairdressers how to do hair extensions in salons on clients, and they don't all do a great job. So I can kind of help you steer clear of those bad hair extension jobs. And the very first thing I would say is reviews. Come on, we're in a social media world. Read the reviews on this person. Some people are too scared to ask their money back or ask to, I don't know, to ask them to redo it, and they just pay. And then you see them on these forums complaining about their hair, afraid to actually do anything about it. But then they'll put a review. Don't go to so and so. She did this to me. She did that. There's so many techniques out there now. What technique do you do? What hairdresser do you go to? How long can you expect it to last? What is it going to cost? What is the maintenance? So what do you think, Eddie? You have any opinions on very first thing to think of as a
You
client?
know,
Extensions?
I look at the number of five-star reviews that exist because obviously if somebody's taking the time, if somebody's happy, your first inclination is not to go put a review about how happy you are. Most people that are happy and satisfied are just that, and then they go about their day. But the people that do take the minute to put a five-star review, we really appreciate it. You don't realize how much that means to us. It helps because it offsets the insanity. The person, like you're saying, who gets upset, they're the first person to go out there and one star and blast you to everybody, right? So I look at the amount of five stars versus one stars, and then I try to find the 3-4 star reviewers because those are the ones that were satisfied, but there could have been something else, and whether they tried to work it out with the stylist or not is to be seen. But somewhere in the middle, you get a baseline as to what's going on, you know. And I think reviews are a good thing. I think also speaking to somebody else who's gotten the service from that stylist in person or through a DM or something
Well,
matters.
right before that, right. Speaking to someone is a little more, it's a little deeper dive and a little more embarrassing for some people because I think they think like, oh, I don't want to talk to a real person. In this day and age, it's all about like, let me just be in my phone. Let me read stuff. Let me ask AI. I don't want to talk to a real person. So I agree. I would do that. And that is the next step. But right before that, the least you can do, you go on this consultation. I mean, there's even deeper dives I could explain to somebody, but I'm trying to do the simplest things first. First would be read the reviews, see what they, and realize that reviews come in a few different forms. I mean, you've got a few different media companies and places out there. You've got Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews. So you've got to look in each of those areas because some people only review in one of those areas. And so that stylist will probably have reviews in each one of those areas separately. But my goodness, the thing that I am shocked people don't do is look or ask for images, pictures, pics. Look for a picture or a video. Ask during the consultation, do you have any pictures of your work or videos of your work? They should be showing it on their phone. They should have an Instagram or a Facebook or a TikTok page with all the people they've done if they have any experience or success at all in any service, much less hair extensions. So to me, it's like, look at their before and afters or just their afters in hair extensions. But then I agree with you. And I tell you what, we could end it here because it should be this fast and easy. You should talk to See an actual client. When are you doing your next extension client? Do you mind if I come by when you're doing them and talk to them? Or who was the last extension client you did? Can I call or talk, or can you call them? Can I talk to them? We have clients, or I say clients, extension wearers, our actual hairdressers or office workers, people in the building have extensions on their head that they can talk to. So, I mean, we have people they can talk to right away, because a lot of times you should be wearing, I know we are guys and we have a little tougher time following this particular rule that we recommend, but you should be wearing the hair you're recommending so you can show it. It's so easy. So we always put it on people we work near so we can show our assistant, our fellow hairdresser, the front desk girl, the office girl, whoever you have around you that's a girl that will do their hair pretty. We do that so we can show them. Any advice in that area?
It's so true. You know, every girlfriend I've had before I got married, now that I'm married, you know, Carmelina's got them. It's the girls in the salon, my cousins, their little kiddos. I mean, Olivia's coming in on Saturday. I'm going to pop in a couple of purple hair extensions on her. It's just, I'm always surrounded by somebody in my family who is wearing them. And it's not just one person, it's a variety of the women in the family. So this way you're constantly getting feedback. The family is the biggest critic more than anybody else.
Right. If you're doing your family, what a great point. If you're putting them on your friends and family and all the people around you, you've always got marketing, you've got criticism, you've got reviews, you've got pictures, live people to show. How much better than that can you get? If somebody can't show you any of this stuff and they're making examples or excuses and trying to say, well, they're private, they don't want anybody to know. Not true. Most people don't mind these days. So if they're hiding the fact that they can't show you any of their work, they probably don't do a good job. And there's somebody else in that town that does do a good job. You can always call, text, email our office or company and look for a hairdresser in your area that does a good job. And even if we have a client that buys hair, but they don't buy enough or don't do a good job, we don't recommend them. You have to be buying a decent amount of hair and doing a good job, having good reviews before we'll even recommend. And so that pretty much sums it up for me.
Is there an opportunity to talk about, get a consultation with the stylist and make sure you feel comfortable with the stylist, what they're telling you too? You know, too many times you'll go to the style, I'll hear these stories. The client goes to the stylist, they get told, this is the only type of hair extensions that is good. Everything else sucks. And we have talked about this before. That may be the only technique that stylist is aware of. That may not necessarily be the best technique for your type of hair. And you ultimately are the one that's going to be wearing that hair. So make sure when you're listening to what the stylist is saying to you, make sure that they sound confident, they have a plan, and they sound level. They're not being overly negative to justify how good their thing is. If they have good product, good technique, they are good themselves. A confident stylist does not knock down other things. They agree that things exist, techniques exist, products exist, but for your type of hair, this is the best one. And if that stylist says to you, I believe this is going to be like this weft, this O tip might be the best style for you, I'm just not good at it, but I'll find you somebody, or I could recommend you somebody else. What a respect you should have for that stylist. And you should give that stylist a good review too, you know?
Right. That's a good point. And so that kind of brings up one little thing that makes me want to educate some of the people that don't really understand extensions. And so when people say, I want to get extensions, how do I know I'm going to get a good job? Most people don't realize, like you and I, we take it for granted. I don't think most people realize how many options there are out there. So I just thought we might take a second just to overwhelm some people on purpose in how many choices could be made, but most stylists only know one or two of these. And so help me if I forget any. I mean, I'm going to go way back to wefts was the old fashioned way, just loose hair, human hair versus synthetic hair. Then you had eye tips and keratin tips and a bunch of weird little silicone and U-tips and flat tips and round tips. And then we went O tips. Am I missing anything?
Then you got the keratin tips. You got the ones that you braid in. You got the ones that you clip in. You got the one that you sew in. You got adhesives, right? You got adhesives that you heat in. You got adhesive that you don't heat in. You got temporary wear versions of everything we just said. You have extended wear versions of everything we just said.
Clip strings, right? So there's so many things out there, which I think brings home the point of you saying when a hairdresser recommends and only does one type of extension, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's most likely not the right one for you. Because if they just do one technique, it might show how new they are to extensions. And I hate saying that because our line is, I was going to say is one technique, but it even isn't. Even our line is a weft and a strand. We have keratin tips, O tips, and wefts that are put in. And oh man, I'm going to get a tiny bit deeper, and I didn't want to go here, but right down the middle, I'm going to split it. Tension versus non-tension. And I think that's super important in the world of extensions. I think if you ask your hairdresser and they flinch or don't understand the question, run. If you say, is this a tension hair extension or a non-tension? Because non-tension is what you should want. That's the one that doesn't cause damage. And most hairdressers won't, I shouldn't say most, a lot of hairdressers won't even know what that statement means. And if they have trouble understanding the question or answering the question, just don't get extensions by them. If they don't know if their technique is tension or non-tension, you probably shouldn't be going to them.
Piggybacking off of what you just said too, talk about placement patterns and strategies. Where are these going across your head and why? Because it's not just where is it going on your head, that part matters, but equally, if not sometimes more importantly, where they go, where are they going to fall down here? And where are they going to?
We're getting a little deep and technical now.
But I know you get me excited.
I know, and all of that matters. But I think just I think tension, non-tension is about as technical, because I think even that many hairdressers and the clients won't understand. But if you just at least understand that you shouldn't or know the answer, non-tension is the answer. And if the hairdresser doesn't know or says their technique is tension, then it's the wrong answer. And if you're saying I'm looking for non-tension and they're like, oh yeah, that's what I do, they might be lying. So you can't say I'm looking for a non-tension extension. Is that what you do? Because then they might be, oh yeah, that of course I do exactly what you want. No, you have to ask them in such a way that, do you do a tension or non-tension hair extension? And if they really don't understand the question, it's probably not a good hairdresser to go to.
One last thing I just thought of too. If it sounds too good to be true on the price, it probably is.
That's a great point.
And if you think it's way too expensive, it might be for you. There is a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. Hair extensions do cost money. I'm not going to say they're reasonable. I'm not going to say, well, they are reasonable. For the amount of wear that you get out of it, it's an investment. It's an investment in how you look. Just like getting your teeth done every couple of times a year, right? Your health checkup. Your hair extensions is an investment into your mental health and your physical appearance. So there is a sweet spot. You don't want to go cheap or low cost. Expensive is.
I think that's a good point. No, I think money is a good point, because money talks about something that is not easily understood by even hairdressers sometimes. But if you're the end user and you're going to get extensions, how do you know if the hairdresser that you're going to is using high quality hair? Do you want high quality hair? I think you should want high quality hair, but the money is something that speaks to that most of the time. Of course, you can have a hairdresser using low quality hair and just ripping you off, and that's rare. And then the reviews will end up coming. That's why all of this goes together. The reviews or the referrals, talking to the client. But if it's a little higher price, and when I say higher price, it depends on how much hair you're getting. Anywhere between $500 and $1,500 is a good average for hair and hair extensions. It could be 2,000, 2,500 and still be a good deal. But like you said, when it's going over 2,500, 3,000, it might be an overpriced service that you could almost afford to fly to another city and get good hair and the price of the flight be worth it and get a decent job. But high quality hair costs a little bit more. It costs a little more money to control the cutically aligned hair, which is called Remy hair. Costs a little bit more money to lift, color out, and put color back in the right way, whereas some companies do it a very fast, aggressive, damaging way. So all of these things will damage hair, cause it to be lower quality, cause it to tangle, cause the color to fade. You deal with a lot of problems from cheaper hair. So I'm glad you brought up the money thing. Yeah, if you're going to be investing in your hair and your look, a little bit more money up front. But the advantage these days, and the thing that I still love about the on-stage hair extensions, whether it's the weft or the strand, is they're so freaking reusable. So yes, you might spend $1,200, $1,400, $1,500 to get hair extensions put in, but most people are in the $150 to $250 range to take it all out, reapply it, and wear that same hair for about a year. I mean, when hair is reusable for about a year, that is where the big savings is. And you can get expensive hair that's only used once. And I have to say, we sell that too, the K-tip or keratin tip. It's not easily reusable. It's high quality hair, looks great for 4 to 6 months, maybe 3 months, but average 3, 4 months, sometimes as many as 6 or 7 months. It's great hair, but when it comes out, it costs a lot of money to do it again. It has its advantages, and I love a keratin tip for a bunch of good reasons that we've said in other videos, but it's going to be the one for wealthier people or that are looking for a particular advantage that other ones don't have, but it's not going to be reusable and less expensive for the reapplication. So those are a few of the nuances, but for the most part, referrals, ask people, non-tension, definitely see pictures and talk to somebody, please. We're going to do a short video here today because I think that's all you need in a consultation to get a good set of extensions.
It's very straight to the point. Feel comfortable and confident with the stylist that you're working with. Make good decisions and invest. It really is an investment into your look. Yeah, I agree.
That's it. I'm going to do an extension consultation now. For real. For real. That's why we're having to cut it short. I'm going to go see if I can sell it. Talk to you later.
Nice. Thanks to all for watching. We'll catch you later.